Hello students, this is our last lecture of this chapter, that is cell, right? So students, in the last lecture we have studied about nucleus. We have studied about all the components of the nucleus. Nucleus is a double membranous structure. It has nuclear pores which have octagonal complex. Nucleus is filled with matrix called as nucleoplasm. Matrix possesses enzymes, RNAs, different types of nucleotides and different ions. Matrix also possesses chromatin. What is chromatin? Chromatin are fine thread-like structures. Those are nothing but genetic material. We have also studied that chromatin is made up of DNA, histone proteins. These are the two major components. Apart from it, it is also made up of non-histone proteins and RNA. The term chromatin was proposed by the scientist Fleming. Chromatin is of two types, that is euchromatin or a true chromatin which is transcriptionally active, and heterochromatin which is transcriptionally inactive. Heterochromatin is also divided into two types, that is constitutive heterochromatin and facultative heterochromatin. Nucleoplasm also possesses nucleolus. Nucleolus is a non-membranous structure. It is the ribosome factory of the cell. It synthesizes rRNAs and along with proteins which are synthesized in the cytoplasm. This nucleolus ultimately synthesizes ribosomes. This is clear, students, right? Today we are going to study about chromosomes. So students, the term chromatin and the term chromosomes, what is the difference, right? The term chromatin was given by the scientist Fleming and the term chromosomes was given by the scientist Waldeyer. Scientist named Waldeyer has given the term. We are talking about the term. Term was given by Waldeyer, right? Now when we had studied nucleus, we had said that this structure of nucleus is during the interphase cell. Interphase cell is a non-dividing cell, the cell which is not undergoing division to form two cells. Such cells interphase, the nucleus we have studied, right? Now when the cell, so in that interphase nucleus, what was present? Chromatin was present. Chromatin is nothing but, say this is the nucleus. This is the nucleus. I am not drawing its pores right now, right? Chromatin is nothing but thread-like structures which are present all over the nucleus. So this thread-like structures are nothing but chromatin. When is this chromatin seen? During the interphase nucleus, right? The nucleus is in the interphase, right? Now during cell division, right? During cell division, right? there is condensation of this chromatin, right? This chromatin undergoes condensation. What is condensation? Condensation is nothing but compaction, right? So students, you can say that this chromatin is nothing but a bowl, right, which has noodles, right? Noodles are also thread-like. So a bowl is a nucleus, and that bowl is filled with noodles. Those noodles are nothing but chromatin. Now, when the cell has to undergo division from one cell, from one nucleus, when two nucleus are to be formed, is it possible that we can divide it? First, we are going to replicate it, and then we are going to divide it. But with this noodles, with these threads which are intermingled with each other, how is it possible to replicate and divide? So, when the cell is undergoing cell division, at that time all these threads undergo compaction and they form chromosomes, right? So after this, after condensation, this chromatin forms chromosomes. So these are nothing but chromosomes, right? So these are nothing but chromosomes, right? And these chromosomes will possess this thread-like structures, right? This will possess this thread-like structures, that is chromatin, right? So this structure is nothing but chromosome. And when is it seen? It is seen during cell division, that is during prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and during telophase there will be reverse. We will study. So you can say that you are able to see this chromosomes during cell division, when the cell is undergoing division, that is either mitosis or meiosis. At that time these chromosomes are seen. So what are chromosomes? Chromosomes are nothing but condensed form of chromatin. Chromosomes are condensed form of chromatin. Chromosomes are condensed form of chromatin, right? Strasburger discovered chromosomes. Strasburger was the scientist who discovered chromosomes. This is clear. Strasburger discovered chromosomes. The term chromosome was given by the scientist Waldeyer. Chromosomes are the condensed form of chromatin. Chromosomes are best studied during metaphase, right? So during metaphase, the morphology of the chromosomes can be best studied. Very important, students, right? What is morphology? Morphology, which means what is the size of the chromosome, what is its look, where is the placement of centromere, what is the length of the arms, right? That morphology, which means external appearance of the chromosome, is best studied during metaphase. Shape of the chromosomes in terms of letter. In terms of letter. Which letters? V, L, J, I. Right? So there are different shapes of the chromosomes. In terms of letter is best studied during anaphase, right? So during anaphase it is best studied. Yes, so its external appearance, morphology can be best studied during metaphase, and shape of the chromosomes in terms of these letters V, L, J and I. What is it we will study? Right? Can be best studied during anaphase stage. Yes, students. Then one more thing. Yes. Now, in case of plants and animals, right? Size. If we are talking of the size, then plant chromosomes are larger than animal chromosomes, right? And if we are talking of number, right? And if we are talking of number of chromosomes, then animal chromosomes are more in number than plant chromosomes. Animal chromosomes are more in number than plant chromosomes, right? Then what else, right? The ploidy of the chromosomes is denoted by the letter N, right? N represents the ploidy of chromosomes. What is it? Right? N represents the ploidy of chromosomes, right? 2N is equal to diploid set of chromosomes. 2N is equal to diploid set of chromosomes. Simply N is equal to haploid set of chromosomes, right? So if we are talking of human beings, right? In human beings, have diploid set of chromosomes, have diploid set of chromosomes, and in case of human beings the diploid cell is equal to diploid set is equal to 46 chromosomes. So any cell of our body, right, whether we are talking of the cell of lungs or the cell of liver or the cell of any other organ, right, will have diploid set of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes, or we can say 23 pair of chromosomes. This much is clear, right? Its haploid set will be 23 chromosomes. This haploid set, that is 23 chromosomes, is present in gametes. Gametes will have haploid set of chromosome. What are gametes? Gametes are the structures, or you can say the cells, which are produced by meiotic division, right? So the female gamete is, you can say, ovum, and the male gamete is sperm. So the gonads, right? Male gonad is testis, female gonad is ovary. The cells of this gonad undergoes meiosis to form gametes. The male gamete is called as sperm and female gamete is called as ovum. Sperm and ovum will have how many chromosomes? One set of chromosome, that is 23 chromosomes. All the other cells of human beings, the cells of liver, heart, kidney, spleen, intestine, muscles, right? We are not talking of muscles. Muscles have multi-nucleus, so it is a different thing. They have diploid set of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes are present, or 23 pairs of chromosomes are present, right? Then one more terminology you have to learn, that is genome. What is the meaning of genome? What is genome? The haploid set of chromosome inherited from one parent is called as genome, right? What is genome? So say for example we are talking of human genome, right? Human genome, how can we study? So first of all, for that you need to learn the term genome. What is genome, right? So haploid set of chromosome which is inherited from one parent, right? So when sperm and ovum are going to fuse, a diploid zygote is formed. So diploid zygote will have 23 chromosomes from sperm and 23 chromosomes from ovum. That is 23 chromosomes from one parent and 23 chromosomes from the other parent to form a diploid zygote. So that one set of chromosome which the person, the human being, is inheriting from one parent is called as its genome. So human genome is nothing but 23 chromosomes from one parent. Now this is species specific. Number of chromosomes are species specific, right? So different species will have different number of chromosomes. Human beings are having diploid set of chromosomes, that is 46 chromosomes in all the cells, right? And the gametes which are formed will have haploid set of chromosomes, that is 23 chromosomes, right? Now you have to study about the type of chromosomes. Which are the types of chromosomes? So there are 4 types of chromosomes. These 4 types of chromosomes are based on the position of centromere and the length of the arm, right? Types of chromosomes. On basis of position of centromere and length of arm. So we are going to study the detailed structure of chromosome, but let me quickly describe it so that you can understand it easily. Right? Chromosome will have a constriction. That constriction is called as centromere. And if we are talking of a prophase or a metaphase chromosome, it will have two arms. Right? So these are the arms of the chromosomes. These are the arms of the chromosomes. Right? These are the arms. Right? So in the center there is the constriction, that is centromere, and there are arms. So based on the position of centromere and the length of the arms, there are 4 types of chromosomes. Those are, the first one is metacentric, the second one is submetacentric, the third one is acrocentric, and the fourth one is telocentric. These are the 4 types of chromosomes. Now we will draw its diagram. Right? So the primary constriction is the centromere. Right? So the centromere is positioned in the center and the length of the arms are equal. Right? So the length of the arms are equal. Such type of chromosomes are called as metacentric chromosomes. So what are metacentric chromosomes? The centromere is in the center and the length of arms is equal. Such type of chromosomes are metacentric chromosomes. Then second type is submetacentric chromosomes. Right? Let me draw it. Right? So in this case, the centromere is positioned away from the center so that one arm is shorter and the other arm is longer. Such type of chromosomes are called as submetacentric chromosomes. So you can see these arms are short and these arms are long. In this case, these two arms are equal. Right? So centromere is away from center. Right? So one arm is short, other arm is long, slightly long. Such type of chromosomes are called as submetacentric chromosomes. Right? Then the third type of chromosomes are acrocentric chromosomes. In this case, the a pair of arms are very short, right? And the other pair of arms are very long, right? Other pairs of the arms are very long, and this is the centromere, right? So such type of chromosomes are called as acrocentric chromosomes. So centromere is near to the tip with two arms very short and two arms very long, right? So these two arms are very short and these two arms are very long. Such type of chromosomes are called as acrocentric chromosomes. The fourth type of chromosomes are telocentric chromosomes. What is it? So centromere will be at the tip so that there are two arms which are towards one side only, right? So it will have only two arms, right? Centromere is at the tip. Such type of chromosomes are called as telocentric chromosomes. So students, these are the four types of chromosomes: metacentric, submetacentric, acrocentric and telocentric. So we have studied that the shape of the chromosomes in terms of letter is best studied during anaphase. So what are those shape of the chromosomes, right? Metacentric chromosomes will show V shape. Submetacentric will show L shape. Acrocentric will show J shape and telocentric will show I shape during anaphase. Now what is how are these shapes being seen? This we will study when we will study the mitotic division and precisely anaphase. So these are the types of chromosomes. Metacentric, where two arms are of equal length. Submetacentric, where pair of arms are short, pair of arms are long. Centromere is away from the center. Acrocentric, pair of arms are very short, pair of arms are very long. And centromere is placed near to the tip. Telocentric, centromere is at the tip. So there are two arms which are present, right, at one tip. Other side there are no arms. This is clear, right? So these are the four types of chromosomes based on the position of centromere and the length of the arm. Now we are going to study about the structure of the chromosomes. It is also possible that this metacentric chromosomes can have this secondary constrictions and telocentric chromosomes can have very short arms, right? Those are very short arms, right? These are the diagrams which are given in your book. If you will study it this way, then also it is fine. Yes. Now we are going to study about the structure of chromosome. What is the structure of chromosome? Yes. So we can say that chromosome is made up of two sister chromatids in case of prophase and metaphase, right? Let me draw it. So this is the centromere and this are the chromatids. This structure is called as chromatid, right? So this is one chromatid and this is also chromatid. So these are called as sister chromatids, right? Because those are identical to each other. That is why those are called as sister chromatids. Such kind of chromosome is seen during prophase and metaphase. Now I'll draw one more structure. This is centromere and this is also chromosome. This is only single chromatid, right? Only one chromatid is there, one arm is there. Over here, two chromatids are there and those are sister chromatids. Such kind of structure is seen in anaphase. Anaphase chromatid will be single chromatid, right? So, we are going to study this structure because whether we study the structure of single chromatid or sister chromatids, it is same, right? So, now what is the structure of the chromosome? What is chromosome made up of, right? So, chromosome has a primary constriction, right? Which are the parts of the chromosomes? Let me write it over here. Pellicle, second is matrix, third is centromere, fourth is chromatid, fifth is secondary constriction, and sixth is telomere. These are the parts of chromosomes. Pellicle, right? So there is a membrane, right? There is a membrane which is called as pellicle. So let me draw it. This is a membrane. This membrane is called as pellicle, right? Now inside what is present? Inside there is matrix, right? Inside there is matrix. What does this matrix possess? Again, it possesses enzymes, proteins. Right, enzymes and proteins will be present in the matrix. So first is pellicle. Pellicle is the membrane of chromosome. Right, matrix is the ground substance of chromosome. Then centromere. Centromere is also called as primary constriction. Centromere is also called as primary constriction, right? So this is primary constriction, right? This is called as centromere. Yes, primary constriction, which means this structure is wide. This structure gets narrow. It gets constricted. That constricted structure is called as centromere. Right? Now surrounding centromere, there is a plate. Right? There is a plate surrounding centromere. This plate is called as kinetochore, right? It is called as kinetochore. It is a disc-like structure. What is it? It is a disc-like structure. On either side of centromere. What is the function of it? It provides site for attachment of spindle fiber, right? So whenever there is cell division, at that time spindle fibers are formed. If you remember and if you recollect, then we have studied that the organelle whose function is spindle fiber formation is centriole, right? So if I will draw a diagram of it, right? Say this is a cell, this is a cell, right? Now this are the centrioles of the cell which are replicated. Replication of the centriole occurs during S phase, that also we have studied. So these are pair of centrioles arranged at right angle at one pole. These are other pair of replicated centrioles arranged at right angle at the opposite pole, right? Now what happens? Say here is the chromosome and we are drawing a prophase chromosome, and we know that a prophase chromosome is having two sister chromatids. So that is chromosome. This is a prophase chromosome. This chromosome is an anaphase chromosome. Structures are same only, right? Now spindle fibers are formed. Who is forming spindle fibers? Spindle fibers are formed from centriole. So centriole is forming spindle fibers, right? Centriole is forming spindle fibers. This structure is spindle fiber, right? Now where is kinetochore present? Kinetochores are the disc-like structures which are present on the either side of centromere, right? So on the either side of centromere, kinetochores are present. What is the function of kinetochore? It provides site for the attachment of spindle fibers. So spindle fibers which are formed from centriole. This is centriole. Those spindle fibers are going to attach. Where is it going to attach? It is going to attach at kinetochore. That is the function of kinetochore. Clear, students? Yes. So the third part of chromosome is centromere. It is a primary constriction, a narrow area. This is wide area. This is constricted area. This is centromere. It is surrounded by disc which is called as kinetochore, which provides site for the attachment of spindle fibers. Next structure is chromatid, right? What is chromatid? This entire structure, right? This part, right, is chromatid. What will chromatid possess? Chromatid will have chromonymatas, right? So chromatid will have threads. These threads are called as chromonymatas, right? So say I am drawing it like this. This is also chromonymata. This is also chromonymata, right? So this structure is chromonymata, right? So inside chromatid, chromonymatas are present. This chromonymatas are having two types of coiling, right? Which are those two type of coiling? The first one is plectonemic coiling and the second one is paranamic coiling. What is it? Right? So chromonymatas are having plectonemic coiling and paranamic coiling. Right? What is it? So these are threads, chromonimatas. They are coiled. Right? Now if they are intertwined with each other like this type of coiling is called as plectonamic coiling, which means those are intertwined with each other. Right? A cell will have chromosome during cell division. It can have either plectonamic coiling or paranamic coiling. How are we going to decide which cells are having? So over here the threads are intermingled with each other. Such type of coiling is seen in all the cells. But which type? Somatic cells. Right? Whereas paranamic coiling is when the threads are parallel to each other. Such type of coiling is seen in gonadial cells. Gonadial cells are those cells present in testis or ovary which are going to undergo meiosis. So these cells undergo meiosis. Somatic cells always undergo mitosis. During meiosis, this has to be separated, right? So how can we separate it if it is intertwined with each other? It is not possible if these two are the threads, right? If these two are the threads and if those are intermingled, right? Can we separate it? No. But if these are parallel, can we separate it? Yes. So during meiosis, there is need of separation, splitting, and that is why it is having paranamic coiling, whereas somatic cells undergo mitosis, and that is why the chromonimatas are having plectonamic coiling. This all the things are seen in chromatid. What else is seen? Right? Then in chromatid, we can also see that there are beads on the string kind of appearance. Right? Those are beads on the string. Right? Which means, say this is a string. Say this is a string. And in this string, there are beads. Right? This beads on string appearance is called as chromomere. It is called as chromomere. Right? So when we study it in detail, right? When we study chromonimata in detail, what we see? We see chromomeres. What are chromomeres? So there is a string, and this string we are putting beads. So string with beads. Bead on string appearance is called as chromomere. Now what are these beads? These beads are nothing but nucleosome. These beads are nothing but nucleosome. We will study its structure now. Right? So this much is clear. So chromatid. This is a single chromatid seen in a anaphase chromosome. Right? In case of prophase and metaphase chromosomes, two chromatids, sister chromatids are seen. What will these chromatids have? Chromatids will have this coiled structures or parallel structure, which are called as chromonimatas. If they are coiled, if those are intertwined, it is called as plectonamic coiling, seen in somatic cells. What are somatic cells? All the cells of our body except the gonadial cells, that is cells of testis or ovary, are called as somatic cells. Plectronamic coiling is seen in somatic cells. Paranamic coiling is seen in gonadial cells, which means the cells of testis and ovary. Testis is a male reproductive organ. Ovary is a female reproductive organ. Now, if we'll microscopically see this chromonematase, what we can see? We can see beads on string. Those are called as chromomeres, right? Now, what are these beads actually made up of? These dotted beads are nucleosomes. We will study its structure. Then what else is seen? Secondary constriction is also seen in case of chromosome. So first narrow part is primary constriction. Say for example over here also, this part of the chromosome is also constricted, right? So say here is one more constriction, and then this is a dilation, right? I am naming it, this is. So this is also one more constriction. This is also constriction. This is also constriction. This is primary constriction. This constriction is secondary constriction. The part of the chromosome other than secondary constriction, this part of chromosome is called as satellite. This part is called as satellite. Now, what is this secondary constriction? Yes, secondary constrictions are nothing but NOR. This we have studied when we have studied nucleolus. It is nucleolar organizing center or region, right? And where are nucleolus present? Humans have 5 nucleolus. So there are 5 nucleolar organizing region or secondary constrictions. Which chromosomes have NOR? Chromosome number 13, 14, 15, 21 and 22 have NOR. Such chromosomes are called as SAT chromosomes. Those are called as SAT chromosomes, right? What are SAT chromosomes? Chromosomes which have secondary constriction. What is secondary constriction? Nucleolar organizing region. So this constriction is nucleolar organizing region. This part is satellite. The chromosomes which have this secondary constriction, this entire chromosome is called as SAT chromosome. It stands for cyno acid thymonucleinico. Cyno acid thymonucleinico. This much is clear. The last part is telomere. Telomere is the end part of chromosome. Say this part. This part is called as telomere. Telomere is rich in guanine. Telomere have repeated, very important students. It is usually asked, repeated guanine bases. Right? It is having repeated guanine bases. Right? What is the function of telomere? So such type of 46 chromosomes are present in the humans. all these 46 chromosomes arms can bind with each other. They can attract because these are polar part. So they will attract. So what is the function of telomere? Telomere is preventing its attraction. Yes, this is the structure of chromosome. Yes, after studying the structure of chromosome, this is the last topic of this chapter. That is packaging of DNA, right? How is DNA packed? So what is DNA? DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is nothing but genetic material. Where is this genetic material present? It is present in chromatin. Now when there is condensation of chromatin into chromosome, there is packaging. How is it done, right? So again I am saying this is chromatin, this is chromatin. They condense to form chromosome. So this is chromosome, and chromosome will have this chromatin, right? Very important, students, length of DNA in human cell is 2.2 meter, right? So the total length of DNA in a human cell, DNA is present in nucleus. It is 2.2 meter. So you can imagine the cell is a microscopic structure. How can it have a 2.2 meter long DNA? Nucleus, right? Where is DNA present? In nucleus. So how can the nucleus of the cell have such a long DNA? Because nucleus itself is a microscopic structure, which means this DNA is packed, right? We have studied that nucleus also have histone proteins, right? So this histone proteins are positively charged and those are basic proteins, right? So histone proteins are basic proteins and positively charged. So histone proteins are basic proteins and positively charged proteins. Those are positively charged proteins. We know which are the histone proteins: H1, H2A, H2B, H3, H4. These are the 5 histone proteins. We have also studied that first histone octamer is formed. Octo stands for 8. So 8 histone units will bind. How will they bind? What is this histone octamer made up of? H2A into 2, H2B to 2, H3 to 2, 4 into 2. So total 8 histone proteins are there. 2 H2A, 2 H2B, 2 H3 and 2 H4. And we know how are those arranged, right? Say these are H2A. Behind it there is H2B. Then here there is H3. Behind it there is H4. So total 8 histone proteins are there, right? I am drawing it as a single ball, right? I am drawing it as a single ball. So this is a single ball made up of 8 histone units. This is clear, right? Now as I said, length of DNA is 2.2 meter. One more thing, DNA is negatively charged. histone proteins are basic proteins and those are positively charged. DNA is negatively charged. So both can attract each other. Length is 2.2 and this much of long DNA has to be accommodated in a tiny nucleus. So packaging is done, right? So what happens? Around this 8 histone proteins, histone octamer, the DNA is getting wrapped, right? So say this is the DNA which is getting wrapped. So DNA is getting wrapped, right? And this DNA is, say over here there is one more thing. From here also is coming one more thing. Over here is also one more octamer, right? And DNA is getting wrapped, right? And here there will be H1 histone protein. So this clamping is done by H1 histone protein. So are you able to see it, students? So say these are histone octamers. This are histone octamers, right? And this is the DNA which is wrapped, right? So it is taking a first turn and 3/4 turn. First 3/4. First 3/4. First 3/4. And clamping is done by H1, right? So how does this appear? This appear like beads on string. And what are these beads made up of? These beads are nothing but nucleosome. What is this nucleosome made up of? It is made up of histone octamer plus DNA. DNA is taking how much turn? 1/3/4 turn plus DNA linker. What is DNA linker? This is DNA linker. That makes one nucleosome. So histone octamer, right? And DNA is packaged so that 2.2 meter long DNA can combine into a single tiny nucleus. How much turn DNA is taking? 1 3/4 turn. Very important, right? So if we start from here, it is taking 1 turn. It is taking again 3/4 turn, and then it is getting straighter. So one histone octamer is having 1 3/4 turn of DNA, and this is nucleosome beads. It is made up of histone octamer, DNA with 1 3/4 turn, and 2 beads are connected by this DNA. This is DNA linker. So this is about the packaging of DNA. Yes, students, with this we have completed our 8th chapter. Nucleus is a very important topic. Within nucleus, we have studied all the components of the nucleus, right? We have studied in detail about chromosome, types of chromosome, structure of chromosome. We also studied about the packaging of the DNA.